video I'm going to show you how to record from a performance. Now in the previous version of the Motif ES, you had to copy in the parameters from a performance, and those parts would become tracks in your song. So you'd have to copy over the arpeggio that you wanted to use, you'd have to copy over the effects, and this is common also in a lot of other workstations. In the Korg workstations you have to do this as well. So this is a very useful feature to be able to record directly from performance without having to copy over any of these settings. It's very seamless integration into the sequencer. So here what I've done is I've dialed into user 3 bank F5 and its keys to the underground. So if I turn on the arpeggiator here, you can see that I can easily get a nice little jazz riff going. And what I'd like to do is take that and record it directly into the sequencer. So as I said before, you had to go into song mode and then copy those parameters over. But in the XS, all you have to do is simply press the record button on the sequencer transport controls. Now from here you'll be taken directly into a page where you can set up parameters for your recording. You can use the arrow keys to dial up and down to select your parameter, and then the increment and decrement buttons to change that parameter. I believe it's default set to pattern, which is going to allow you to create a loop to be arranged with other patterns to create a song, or if you set this to song, it's going to write it into the linear sequencer where you can record portions of notes from beginning to the end of the song. Now of course if you record just a small portion, you can use some of the song job functions to copy and paste measures as needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply record it into song. With the number set to 4, this is going to give me the option to record my song into a blank song number. I have a couple default or demo songs loaded in the other songs, so I want to make sure and not overwrite those. And by the way, if you did have this set to pattern, you would have a couple more options down here. You could select which section and the pattern length you wanted it to load into. But with it set to song, you don't have those options. Next, select your time signature and tempo, and the tempo is going to be the same as it is restored with the performance. So if it has an arpeggio and drum pattern and everything in performance, then you don't have to worry about that. That tempo is going to be set the same. Of course, you can change it here if needed. If you wanted to speed it up or slow it down, you would just change the tempo accordingly. The next parameter is the key on switch, and if you turn it off there, then you have to press the play button in order to start recording. And if you leave the arrow there, the instant that you press the keys, it's going to begin recording. And this works a lot better if you're using an arpeggio, which in this case we are. There's a drum beat that's playing there, and if you want the instance or the start of the arpeggio to start at the beginning of the song, it's sometimes a little easier, in fact always easier, to leave it to trigger to start when the key is pressed. And also, the last parameter here is copy performance parameters. This is all of the parameters that's going to be associated with the performance that dictate how the performance plays and sounds. So this would be all the arpeggios will be copied over, all of the mixer settings, all of the effect settings. You might have certain rotary effects applied to an organ. You might have certain ambient effects applied to any other sound, system effects, so forth. All those will be copied over. Now one additional thing is I turned off the arpeggio. I want to make sure and turn that back on. And now I'll simply play the keys and I'm ready to start recording. Stop, I just hit the stop button on the sequence transport controls, and then it processes back to performance mode. everything's pretty much back the same. However, after I've done my recording, if I press the song button under the sequence, it takes me immediately to that song number. And you can see there it has all the same parts. Part 1 was Garage Kit, which was the drums. It's now copied into track 1, all those parameters. Also, More Fatty was organ sound from part 2, and it's copied into track 2. And then to the right, you can see all the individual data that's saved in those 4 tracks there. So now if I just press play, I can preview what I just recorded. So at this point I could edit this, I could take out certain portions, I could even change the voice assignments to the tracks, and I could begin to create this into its own song just from performance. So it's a very quick and useful feature in the new Motif XS.